Round 13 action kicks off tonight, and this weekend we are going to see some teams go head to head in what could be season defining for them wanting to finish within the top four. All this and more discussed on this instalment of AFL Teams and Tips.
His name is Godzirra.
What's going on, Godzirra Nation? This is Godzirra back again with another AFL Teams and Tips video. Looking forward to round 13 action. Thank you for joining me as always. This video has come out a little bit late. The first game of the round is already underway by the time this is going to hit the channel, which is unfortunate, but I've had some technical difficulties that's kind of stifled myself getting some gameplay and other videos out for you guys this week. So hopefully now I'm on top of that. Moving forward, we can keep smashing what we were smashing. But speaking of smashing, there could be some big losses coming up this weekend, round 13, kicking off with the first game of the round. Port Adelaide taking on the Western Bulldogs at Adelaide Oval. In for the Port Power, Jack Hompsch, Lindsay Thomas and Todd Marshall. Good to see Todd Marshall coming back into the lineup. Jake Need and Jack Watts have both been omitted. Tom Jonas out with a hamstring injury. In for the Bulldogs as Zane Cordy, Lucas Webb, Shane Biggs and Mitch Wallace. Dale Morris out injured, as well as Matthew Suckling and Tory Dixon. Jordan Roughhead omitted. And I'm going to back Port Adelaide to get this done quite comfortably. They showed good signs against Richmond last week. I think the Bulldogs are going to be a little bit out of their depth heading to Adelaide. And Port Adelaide is going to have a monster 10-plus goal win quite comfortably over the Bulldogs to kick off round 13. We head to the SCG Friday night action in what is going to be game of the round and one of the best games we have seen all year. It is the Sydney Swans taking on the West Coast Eagles. Huge game for both clubs. In for the Swans is Alira and Kieran Jack. Daniel Robinson has been omitted. Jared McVeigh out with an injury. Heath Grundy plays game 250. Huge achievement. In for the Eagles is Chris Maston, Jared Brander, Luke Shuey and Liam Ryan. Good to see Liam Ryan coming back into the lineup after that horrific injury he suffered at the start of the year. Hopefully he can bring that momentum back. We've got Brendan Archie, Mark Hutchings, both omitted, with Jack Darling and Tom Barras out injured. And Jared Brander will debut for the Eagles. This is a very tough game to choose. Eagles are playing a good brand, but Sydney have been so potent when moving that ball forward. I'm tipping an upset, and it's probably not an upset because according to the bookies, they've got Sydney to win, but I still reckon Sydney winning is an upset considering the standing on the ladder. But I'm tipping Sydney to get the job done at the SCG. I just think with Jack Darling out of the Eagles forward line, it gives Sydney a little bit of a chance to manipulate that with a little bit more speed off of half back, and I think they're going to be able to capitalise more moving that ball forward. We head over to Etihad Stadium, where Carlton is hosting Fremantle Saturday afternoon. Levi Casbolt, Nick Graham both in for the Blues. David Cunningham out injured. Cameron O'Shea has been omitted. Matthew Wright plays game 150. In for the Dockers is Stephen Hill, Aaron Sandilands and Nat Fyfe. Three huge ins. Alex Pearce out injured. Scott Jones has been omitted. Michael Walters serving a suspension. Nat Fyfe playing game 150. And I am backing Fremantle to get the job comfortably at Etihad Stadium, locked up, and they can take that win home back to Perth. Stephen Hill, Aaron Sandilands, Nat Fyfe. Big ins for that club. Very big ins. They managed to get the job done last week against Adelaide without those three. And even though Adelaide is struggling a little bit with their outs, Fremantle winning without those key players is enough to tell me they're going to get the job done quite easily against Carlton at the Etihad. However, don't take my word for it because Carlton could prove an upset for this game. Later on Saturday afternoon, we head over to Metricon Stadium. The Gold Coast Suns hosting St Kilda. In for the Suns, Josh Schoenfield, Jared Lyons and Sean Lemons. Jacob Heron, Will Brodie and Brad Shear, all omitted. In for the Saints, probably the biggest in list they've had all year. Jake Carlisle, Jack Billings, Billy Longer and David Armitage. Nick Caulfield, Jack Lonely, I said lonely for a second there. He'll be feeling a bit lonely because he's been omitted. Ed Phillips and Tom Hickey, all dropped. Interesting to see Jack Billings only getting dumped the 1 week. He gets 50 odd possessions in the VFL, just one game, and instantly gets a call up back at senior level. Maybe giving him another week or two in the VFL just to fuel that fire a little bit more could have done him a word of good. But I'm backing St Kilda to get the job done here. Those are some huge ins for the Saints. Gold Coast last week were absolutely deplorable. It was disgusting football to watch. Not one mark taken inside 50. I've never seen that ever in my life of watching AFL. St Kilda will be happy to finally notch up a win after all the heartache they have endured the last few weeks. Saturday night sees the clash of the big birds. Hawthorn taking on Adelaide at the MCG. Will Langford in for the Hawks. Tim O'Brien has been omitted. Sean Burgoyne plays game 350. Absolute champion of the game. In for Adelaide, Jordan Gallucci, Andy Otten, Kyle Cheney and Patrick Wilson on debut. Luke Brown is out injured. Lachlan Murphy, Darcy Fogarty, Cameron Ellis Yeoman have all been dropped. I am backing Hawthorn to reign supreme at the MCG. I just feel with how Fremantle towed Adelaide up, how Melbourne have towed Adelaide up, they're struggling without those key players and they still don't have those players in that lineup. Hawthorn are going to pick the bones of the Crows absolutely dry and have a very nice win on Saturday night. On Sunday we've got one game, and it is Geelong Cats hosting Richmond at the MCG. Corey Gregson, Zach Guthrie, Lincoln McCarthy, Sam Simpson and Jack Thurlow, all named as ins for the Cats. Aaron Black out injured. Don't forget, because this is a Sunday game, there's extended ins listed. Stay tuned on the AFL website for updates on this game if you want to see the definitive ins and outs. For Richmond, Jack Graham, Dustin Martin, Daniel Rioli, Ryan Garthwaite, not Ryle, Ryan, Ivan Soldo and Corey Ellis, all named as in. Connor Menadue has been omitted, as well as Anthony Miles. I'm bitterly disappointed to see these two dropped. Connor Menadue has so much talent and he is not going to grow as a footballer if he doesn't get given opportunity at senior level. And Anthony Miles, what more does he have to do? He gets 40 to 50 possessions in the VFL every week, gets brought in last week, plays a solid game for us last week and gets dumped straight away. And I think that's only because Dustin Martin is coming back in, which is a bit of an upset, you know, to see him not getting a good run, because he is a good player, Anthony Miles, but unfortunately that's how the dice rolls. Ryan Garthwaite, if selected, however, will debut for the Richmond Tigers. I've got to back Richmond here. We've been very dominant on that MCG turf. Dustin Martin coming back in adds something to the midfield. If Daniel Rioli comes back into our forward line, that is a lot of tackling pressure up forward that's going to come in. Jack Graham coming back in is going to add a lot of tackling pressure around the contest. If Ivan Soldo gets brought in, that gives out a chop around in the ruck. So much potential with the ins here. And I'm hoping Richmond get the win, because it'll start to cement the fact that Richmond are a good football side. They've been copping a lot of flack from a lot of AFL supporters this year. Deservingly so. We haven't travelled well at all. We've travelled 3 times. Port Adelaide, Adelaide, West Coast. We have lost all 3 games. It is a bit disappointing that Richmond haven't been able to travel well, considering we used to be a good travelling team. But the MCG is where we have been most dominant, and I am backing in that dominance this weekend. Brisbane, Collingwood, Essendon, GWS, Melbourne and North Melbourne all sitting out with the byes this weekend. To recap who I've selected, we've got Port Adelaide, Sydney, Fremantle, St Kilda, Hawthorn and Richmond. Be sure to get your tips in the comment section down below. At the end of the bye rounds, I will be putting up an updated tally to show you all where everybody is sitting on that voting system. If you are new to the channel, still drop your votes anyway. Get involved. It's something I'm looking at doing every season moving forward. So why not get involved now and get a leg up on the competition before next year? Just get involved with it. It's a good way for myself to interact with you guys, all the football loving fans that I've got as subscribers on the channel. There are plenty of you there, trust me, and you all love the game as much as I do. If you are new to the channel and you haven't subscribed already, hit that subscribe button, pledge your allegiance to the Godzirra Nation, hit that notification bell so every time I go live or a brand new video comes to the channel, you get notified and you can come check it all out. Social media links are down below, guys, in that description box. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Hit me up on all of those. I love chatting to you all. So reach out and take that opportunity to have a good old talk with Godzirra, because I love communicating with each and every one of you. Thank you so much for all the support that you have shown myself in the channel. It is truly appreciated. Don't forget to continue showing that support by leaving a thumbs up on this video. But that's it from me, guys. I'm out of here. Good luck to your teams this weekend, and I will catch you guys next time.